Okay, I just put in the chat the Nearpod link for those that you have just jumped in. So if you please just jump on that. I'm going to share my screen with you. All right. We are up and running now. Okay. So just remember, guys, this lesson is being recorded for learning purposes. Just want to let you know. And then remember just my expectations. Follow along with the Nearpod lesson. Make sure you use the chat tool respectfully and appropriate and respond to questions and instructions the first time. Okay, what we're going to be going on, talking about today is what we call migration. And we're going to talk about push and pull factors that happen there. So let me just jump over to the course real quick so you can see it. Remember, recording I always post to the announcement page right here. We always have live class on Monday, and lessons are always due, or the exit tickets, that kind of stuff is due on Friday. And then you're going to find in the lesson you can just click right here under the assignment, and then I will show you, we'll preview that of what you need to do. We'll come back and look at it at the very end, but this is what the assignment will be. Okay. All right. What we got here, guys, this is going to be our objective for today, is given a Newsela article, students will read the article about immigration and draw conclusions of push and pull factors by listing 2 reasons for each why the person wants to immigrate to another country, and determine whether this was a voluntary or involuntary migration with 80% accuracy across one trial. All right. I think somebody, hold on real quick. Okay. I was just muting everybody's microphone because somebody was getting some background noise in there. All right. So what is migration? Okay. So migration means the movement of people from one region to another. Now, this is maybe a little arbitrary, people, because migration could also be the thing of looking at ideas. Could also be looking at ideas. It could be looking at items like Amazon, right? It's made somewhere and it's shipped to you. It could be food. All of that kind of stuff is the migration of different things and how things get into different cultures. But we're going to be talking specifically about the movement of people from one area to another. Okay, so there's something that we call push and pull factors. Okay, we have a little political cartoon right here that we want to go over. And you have the nice castle that's sitting here, and it says, "We are leaving because we do not like the way things are done." Okay, now you've probably heard this before. You know, some person has told you why they don't like a certain area or they don't want to live in another place. Okay. It could be politics, it could be war, it could be the way the governments ran, it could be lack of jobs, it could be the culture doesn't represent your values. All sorts of things could make you leave an area. Okay. And then the people coming in there, it's like, we are arriving because we do not like the way things are done elsewhere. And so they're coming from somewhere else into certain areas. Here's some pictures of just of kind of look of migration here. There is big kind of political, I guess, ebbs and flows when we talk about immigration. It can be a very, I guess, hot topic for a lot of people in regards to, should people be able to come in? Should they have to pay something to come in? what is the cost for the country and for other people when somebody else comes in. So there's a lot of kind of things that bug people, I guess, when it comes to migration. Okay, we're gonna watch a little video about migration and why people do it.
And the move of people and the spread of ideas, we have to talk about push factors and pull factors. They're kind of what it sounds like. Push factors are things that push people out of an area. They make it so they no longer want to be there anymore, and they want to move to a different location. We could also even look at this for jobs and different things within your community. Something that is going to make you feel unwelcome, well, you're going to probably want to leave then. Push factors are things that are not welcoming. This could be poor economic conditions, a lack of opportunity, war or political oppression, or just oppression from your neighbors or people in the area. These are things that cause us to no longer want to be in a certain location. And because of that, then we decide to leave. So that's a push factor. Now, pull factors are a little bit different. Pull factors are what would attract someone to an area. A pull factor makes you want to move to that location. It makes you want to go to a certain area. We can break pull factors down into 4 main categories: economic pull factors, political, cultural, and also environmental. Our first category is economic pull factors, and this one is the most powerful at moving people. For here, people always want to move to areas with opportunity, and so they will go to areas with more economic opportunity. Places that have poor economic conditions are more likely to push people out. Economics is a big reason why people move. This is also why current day, the United States is a big destination for a lot of migrants and immigrants. Many people, particularly from Central America, want to come to the United States because of all the economic opportunity here. Let's look at an example. Let's say that we have a city and they just discovered a bunch of natural resources. This is going to start driving economic growth, and we're going to see an attraction to this particular area. We're going to see more miners, more loggers, more people come that want to be able to harvest and utilize these natural resources. There, then, we're also going to have more businesses come. If we're having all these new workers come into this area, that means there's going to be more people with money. So they have money to spend on different goods. And with that, then, we're also going to see probably more scientists and geologists come to look at what's going on with the environment and analyze the different areas. If we're having mines, well, they need to look at what's happening in the mines. Trees, we're going to be looking at different carbon monoxide output and what's going on there with the environment. And with all these excess people coming, we'll need more restaurants and stores and more housing. So all of this, just a simple discovery of natural resources, it becomes a huge pull factor. And we can transform an economy overnight, as now we're starting to see more workers and people come from all over the place just because of new opportunity. Our next topic is political. Now, people want to go to an area that's politically stable, where you're not seeing a lot of tension with the government and its citizens, where safety is on the rise, and we're not seeing a lot of crime escalation. They also want to go to an area where the government is supporting the people, where they're fulfilling their needs and helping the economy grow and make sure that we're not seeing a recession or anything that would cause uncomfortable times for its citizens. So people move to an area that's politically stable. Areas that aren't politically stable, well, that's going to be another push factor. That might cause refugees, someone who feels like they're persecuted and they have to flee the country, or internally displaced people where they're within their same borders, but there's a conflict and they've had to flee internally inside the country, or maybe even push them to become an asylum seeker. And that is where they're going to be going to another country in hopes of getting recognized as a refugee and gain that status. But a political motivation here is stability. People want to move to an area that's stable. The next category is cultural. Now, this is going to be different for each person because everyone has a different culture and a different view on life. Some people want to move to a big cities where they're going to have more diversity, both with their economic opportunities, but also in just the citizens who are living in that area. They'll start to be able to experience a faster paced life, and they might at the same time also have some higher crime rates and more traffic issues. Some people like the suburbs where you can have a yard, a front and a back. You'll have a bigger house. You'll have a lower crime rate, better schools, and you'll have maybe a more homogeneous area. So diversity, it goes down. Or some people want more of the rural lifestyle where they're in a small town and you have that family feel and you know everyone in the area and you're able to kind of pick and choose your community. Everyone has different cultural things that will pull them to a certain area. So culture can be a big aspect of it, particularly when people are having families. We see a lot of people start to move into the suburbs or in smaller communities when they have families because they want to make sure they're in a safe area. So this is a big pull factor for people. Our last category is the environment. People are attracted to environments that promote not only a happy life and a successful economy and a stable society, but ones that they feel comfortable with. Remember back to my video on the 4 twos, the too hot, too cold, too wet, and too high. Those are areas people don't want to be. I should definitely know some of this. I live in Minnesota where it is very cold in the winter. A lot of people don't want to live up here because of the coldness. They want to go to a warmer area. Now, there's other barriers that impact migration, such as mountains or government laws, restrictions, and also even just money. It's expensive to move. At the same time, though, what we've seen over time is it's become easier and easier to migrate and move. With communication and transportation improving, barriers we used to have are no longer there. That's also why we're seeing an increase of people moving, particularly to different countries that they see as more opportunity that is going to be available to them, where they can get a better life. And then we see now less of the physical restrictions, but more of a governmental stance. Governments now are passing laws and putting up barriers to try and prevent migration of people.
That is a lot, a lot of detail about migration there. So somebody had a comment here that said, "Isn't Canada? Isn't there a big mess in Canada right now?" Um, I'll be interested to know. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, I have heard some stuff about Canada. Madeline, did you know a little bit about that? She said, yes, there was. Truckers are not moving their trucks. Oh, okay. So are they refusing to work, or are they um, blocking things, blocking people coming in? Because I know that with COVID-19, which has been very interesting, I guess, social experiment. Um, I had some friend that went skiing in Canada, and they were not happy. They wouldn't even serve them at restaurants because they were not from Canada. They're from the United States. Somebody said no. Fighting for their government. Oops. To be how it used to be. Okay, interesting. So they don't like the government oppression. To strike against the law, the new law in Canada. Okay. So the truckers refuse to do their jobs. Okay, which is crazy because like one of the backbones of the economy is trucking, right? We don't have that. We can't get the food necessarily to feed us. They're boycotting is because they think they are saying they have to get vaccinated. Okay. They knew that the government laws basically kicked them in the butt. Okay. So interesting. That's be something. So it may get to a point where they don't like it enough there that they may move, right? They can fight back only so long, but then they kind of move. Okay, so I just got these questions for you real quick. Moving to another area because of employment opportunity is a what factor? Okay, push or pull. And the next question, oh, sorry. That probably messed all you guys up, maybe. Because I always do it down here. And the next question is, leaving a location because the area is unsafe is called a what factor? Let's go back and see what you guys have put. All right, looks like 74% of you have got it all the way correct. Fantastic. Okay. All right, so a little bit more about push factors. And we kind of talked about these a little bit as you talked about Canada and stuff. So reasons why people would leave an area. So I wanted to go over a little bit of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Okay. So push could be high crime rate. Yep, that would push somebody out here. So think about this when you're thinking about why somebody would want to leave. So Maslow has made his pyramid of hierarchy or essential needs, and you have your physiological and you have your safety needs. If you don't have food, if you don't have water, warmth, rest, air, all that kind of stuff, that's going to make you move, right? That's probably the baseline of everything. You need that stuff in order to survive. Um, so whatever you'll have to do, you have to do whatever you can do to get that. So if there's not any food around there, what would you do for any of your food to get food or to get water, right? You know, if somebody had something there and you didn't have food, what would you do to get that food, right? This is where you find out who people really are, I think, you know. Okay, safety. If you're not safe in an area, if there is, if something's unsafe, so an earthquake just happened, you're probably going to migrate somewhere else, right? If it got your house like completely destroyed. Um, if there is a war going on in that area, you're going to move, okay? And then it goes up and moves up to like belongingness, okay? If this is more like the cultural factors, right? Being able to um, like the people around you, that kind of stuff. Um, so Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it goes all the way up to like it's called self-actualization, which is basically you're at harmony with everything that's going on. So somebody said they would steal food, right? If they didn't have it, maybe. I'm thinking that's what you said on there, right? That's what you mean. Um, Definitely. Yep. If you were starving, okay, would you be physically aggressive, right? If you didn't have that, I think you could get pretty hangry. I don't know. But these all come into push factors, right? When you're thinking about things. The opposite effect, yep, very good. If your family was starving, okay, somebody said they would go hunting. Yep, pull factors, reasons why you would want to get into a certain area, right? Well, it's basically because these needs aren't met, right? And you think it's better somewhere else. They said the biggest um, pull factor is economic, right? Being able to have opportunity for growth. Also, I think political freedom, being able to, if you're oppressed in a certain place, being able to have freedom. Um, there are some states in the United States that were so restrictive during COVID that people moved out of those states, right? Their their political oppression basically moved them to somewhere else. So kind of interesting of how this all works, but it's basic human um, thing here. Okay, so let's collaborate here on the board. Push and pull factors. Have any one of you ever moved from one place to another? If you have, then why? Okay, you've never moved. Oh, wow. Got a lot of never moved. Nope, nope. Geez, yes, many times. Okay, why did you move? Why did you move? I moved from Arizona. Okay, so why? I have a ton. Okay, why? I've moved a lot of places from Georgia and California back. Okay, so why did you move? So think about those things, right? Was it a push factor, a pull factor? I have just because my dad's work from the summer. Okay, I go to New York for winters because of family. Okay, so basically maybe like some cultural, maybe some economic there. We got more money to get a better house. Yep. So economic. You have a lot. Okay. Why? Rent was too high for the time. Okay. Very good. That's an economic play, right? My dad and grandma passed away. I'm sorry to hear that. We buried them. I don't. Okay. To be around family, culture. Yeah. Very good. My dad's business. Okay. Economic. Yes. From Florida to Utah. Stefano gets into medical school. Okay. So that was a pull factor. Very good. I like how you highlighted that. That was a pull factor. Very good. Uh, I moved. We did it because my parents a better job opportunity. So economic, okay? Move from a small town because your mom's work, economic. Okay, a lot of it's economic, right? Moved to the south, it didn't for a pull factor, but then didn't work out, moved back. Okay. So sometimes you just need to change, I guess, right? See what other cultures are out there and stuff like that. I moved from New Mexico because my dad's job requirement. Okay, pull factor. Have a couple times. My family and I moved here because my dad got a new job. Okay, economic. Moved from NC, North Carolina. Very good. Okay, so you kind of think about why people move and that kind of stuff. It's all for some reason. I live in a small town and we love it. Okay, so that would probably be a cultural factor of what keeps you there. Okay, so there is something called voluntary versus involuntary migration. Okay, migration is a permanent movement of people from one place to another. Voluntary migration is where a migrant has a choice whether to migrate or not. There are other kinds of migrant. There's forced migration. In a forced migration, a government or authority moves someone beyond their will. Okay, so basically, let's kind of fill in the blank here. We'll do like a little scenario. Okay, so let's say you were living in southern Sudan, Africa, and a war breaks out. It is now unsafe for you to live there. This would be considered a blank migration. What do you guys think? Voluntary or involuntary? Would war be voluntary or involuntary? Okay, involuntary means you're forced out. Voluntary means that you are you have a choice. Okay, so it'd be involuntary. And then you end up migrating to New York City, USA. After a year, you find a higher paying job in Miami, Florida. This would be considered a voluntary, okay? It's not harming you, all that kind of stuff. So that would be the answers to those. Okay, so let's go to the assignment real quick. So on the assignment, you can find, you find under content, lesson 4, you're going to read this article, okay? This article deals about a boy from El Salvador that wants to go to the United States. It's not very long, about 2 pages. After you read the article, you get points for just reading the article. So you got to put yes that you read it. And then you need to list 2 potential push factors of why Vladi started to migrate. Okay. You're going to have to do 2 pull factors of why he started to migrate. And then was this a voluntary or involuntary migration? And then you can submit the quiz. Okay. So somebody put on here. Yeah. So basically, voluntary is moving because you want to. Involuntary is because you're forced to, because it's unsafe there. And you can't do it anymore, or you could be in some type of danger or something like that. So that is what you do there. So this is where you, if you click that there on the Nearpod, it'll take you right to the article. So you can get there that way. And I will put the link to there because some people have some issues getting into it there for the article. Okay, so that is our lesson today. Please, I'll stick around for a bit. Let me know if you have any questions, but I'm going to stop the recording and go from there. Thank you. Good. Glad it was a good class.